In this week's episode, Sandy and I discuss the astrological transits of this big week. We have so many transits to discuss, but the most important ones, Sandy's favorite day, March 5th, Sun conjunct Jupiter, as well as Sandy's astrologically interesting day, March 6th, where Mars and Venus are going to be doing a very interesting dance in Aquarius. So to hear this, as well as a special birthday meditation that I have for you, tune in to this episode of Astrological Intentions. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the frugal fashionista herself, Sandy Reevy. Say hi.
Hi, do I look frugal?
It is episode 188, February 28th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have Tuesday, March 1st, also my birthday, Sun sextile Uranus.
A new order, or the first attempt.
Wednesday, March 2nd, Mercury conjunct Saturn.
A narrow viewpoint.
Same day, new moon in Pisces.
12 degrees Pisces, a very spiritual journey.
Thursday, March 3rd, Mars conjunct Pluto.
Cooperate. WWWT provides SS.
Venus conjunct Pluto.
She's out of her shadow.
Sandy's favorite day, Saturday, March 5th, Sun conjunct Jupiter.
It's a special Cazimi.
And Sandy's astrologically interesting day, Sunday, March 6th, Mars ingress Aquarius.
Moving into air.
And Venus ingress Aquarius.
7 minutes later.
And Venus conjunct Mars.
Catching up.
Then in Talisman Times, Sandy has finished 3 talismans to share wisdom, appreciation, and awareness, to earn and collect spiritual teachings, and to gain courage and protection. Then some very special upcoming you won't want to miss, as well as our Talisman of the Month is announced. Then on the horizon, we have some things we want to share with you, as well as in our house, for my birthday, I am going to be sharing a little bit of my gifts. So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
And so you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, frugal fashionista. You don't look frugal. I'm in love with all of the outfits because you don't normally have new clothes. And you are frugal that way. I will put it out there because I'll call you out that you hate shopping.
I dislike it a lot. It's a waste of time.
I feel like you were probably like, in a past life, you were like a manager of a retail business, even though you have been one in this life.
Yeah.
But anytime we're going shopping, you can't stand like parking so far away, walking. And then another thing that you can't stand is if there's a line to pay.
Man.
You are like, where is the manager? We need to there are 2 open registers that are not manned, and they need to be like pumping us out of this store.
Aren't they there to collect money?
There are
people in line to pay to give them money.
Right.
Why are they not staffing it? And we've got people greeting us at the front door.
Right. And this is also pre-COVID because we really haven't gone shopping since then. But
however,
now
COVID
is like.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I did. Is that you're talking about my top?
Yes, let's talk about that.
And my top that I had on yesterday, and the one I'm going to wear tomorrow.
Right. Well, I don't know about the one you're going to wear tomorrow, but yeah. So
I feel like I wear the same boring, mundane, plain clothes, which works for me. However, I'm on Zoom calls all day. I'm doing webinars. I'm on screen. It's like, oh my God, I think I need to liven up the look.
Yeah.
Right. So when I was in Scottsdale and I was shopping, Andrew and Rachel, my son, your brother, are getting ready to move into their next, or I should say first year-round apartment.
Yeah.
In
home city. Yeah.
In home in Kentucky.
Right.
Well, in the last, really since they've been on the road for the last 6 years doing seasonal work, they have not needed any furniture. They have not needed any dishes. They have not needed any.
A lot of the places have been furnished.
They all have been. So when I get out there, he needed some things for the apartment that he's in right now. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to go over to Goodwill. There are like 7 of them in Scottsdale, Phoenix area. And let me tell you, the one near him is a gem.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And you even sent me some pictures. I was like, I want some of this stuff. It's really great quality. It's really like...
So I was looking for things from, lamps to crock pot, because I was doing a lot of cooking there, to dining room chairs, to benches, to another table, to mirrors, like everything that you would need.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, oh my God, the prices. And the last day I went in, I found these leather nailed dining room chairs.
Oh my gosh, I thought you were going to say leather pants. Okay.
No, I wasn't looking for clothes. I was
Right.
always looking for stuff for them. They were $12 a piece. So I picked the 4 out of the 8 that were the most sturdy
Right.
for $12. And as I was leaving, I'm like,
Leather, that's awesome.
and they weren't with me this time, because Andrew's like, wears his sunglasses, wears a hat. He doesn't want anybody to see him shopping at Goodwill. But everybody donates to Goodwill. It's a goodwill. It's a good
And honestly,
sense.
I think, the community there, Scottsdale is a very affluent area, and half the people aren't necessarily like, if they have a remodeling of their living room, they're not going to go and waste their time trying to sell on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or anything like that. They're just going to be like, you know what? I already have all of the furniture I want to ship into this room, so let's just ship all of this out to Goodwill. And it's a knee-jerk reaction.
Goodwill.
I donate to Goodwill all the time because
we
it's like,
do.
I don't want to throw this stuff away. It's useful and it's practical, and it can be, it could be good for someone who needs
this
it.
thing right now.
Right.
And it's a great way to recycle, folks.
Yes.
Right. I mean, it's
Yes.
the why buy new, why throw away used but good quality things. Anyway, my point is, every day I would go in, and sometimes I would go into a couple of them. So it was just like, hey, Bobby, how you doing? They know who I am. They're and by the way, Tuesdays are Senior Citizen Day.
Oh,
You get an extra
that's your
25%
new favorite
off.
day.
But the very last day, I'm by myself, and I'm getting ready to head to the airport, and I'm like, I just want to see what's there. And I thought, you know what? I need to liven up my top portion of my body.
Yeah.
Because I wear these drab colors all the time. And so I went in and I didn't even try anything on. I just grabbed things that had multicolored, almost like my mandalas that I color.
Literally, even the one you're wearing right now, it's like blue, and it's like kind of got some paisley on it, multiple colors, green, yellow, pink, blue. It's really pretty.
So anyway, they were very affordable, and they're in great shape. And so I've been throwing them on. And that's why you're calling me frugal, because I'll say, oh, this shirt was
quick
$4.
Quick aside, because
someone can use the $4.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I love
and so this kind of reminds me too of one of our favorite bands, Magic Giant, who all of their swag that they will sell while they're touring and doing their concerts, even on their website, everything is from secondhand shops.
They're repurposed.
Everything is repurposed. They don't have, and it does make things complicated, because they're like, oh, we only have this shirt in the size small, but you're like, oh, I want it so bad. Yeah. But also it totally shifts the perspective of, instead of buying all brand new, printing all of those, they just go to their local spot, kind of pick the things that they think are cool, and then they hot print onto those items, and it's awesome. So anyway, that's a long aside just to say I love it. I love the recycling. So let's move in to
it's a big week.
Going direct.
It's a big week.
We received a handwritten card from Suze, and it says, love you to the moon and back on the front. And it says, Goddess Sandy. In other words, happy Venus rebirth. There are no words to accurately express my heart's deep esteem and gratitude for the La Ventana Venus retreat. A very special experience put together magnificently and accomplished in solo fashion, sista. Thank you, thank you, thank you, dear Sandy, my harmonious friend. So,
Thanks, Suze.
I mean,
Thanks,
and
Suze.
just thank you for sending this card. I mean, it's so nice. I feel like it's going to be a thing of the past soon, where it's just emails and social media direct messages. But it is so nice to have a physical card, and then it just stays here, right where I keep all of the cards, and you know, you can just open it up and explore. So thank you, Suze, for sending that in. So let's move into transits. I know we got a long week ahead. So let's start with Tuesday, March 1st, Sun sextile Uranus. Also my birthday. I'm going to throw that in there.
And this is by 11 o'clock at night. A new order, or the first attempt at something new. The Sun in Pisces, you know, wants the peace and the creativity and the harmony and the kind of meditative right space,
cleansing,
and making the sextile, say, taking an advantage of plugging in something in the wall, like this electric, so things are more exciting today when you seek them out, because you have to seek them out. You have to open up doors. You have to set something up. Oh, a party. Oh, a surprise birthday party for you, Alex. But you are about to come to order up something new. So try it. So if you're going to go to a restaurant, order something off the menu that you've never tried before. Order something that you have never ordered before. Hey, go to a Goodwill store.
Yeah. Oh, I love them.
Do something new that you've never done before and try it out, because you just may find a little excitement there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so let's move on to Wednesday, March 2nd. We have two transits. The first, Mercury conjunct Saturn.
Narrow viewpoint, detailed and specific work. Collect all necessary paperwork, documents. Maybe you're doing your taxes. Maybe you will account for all expenses and get a refund.
Ooh.
This Mercury here making this conjunction with Saturn. Saturn's very strong in Aquarius, where he is at 18 degrees. And then Mercury swings by. And of course, Mercury is out of shadow. He was later on in February. So he's been about 10 days-ish out of his shadow period. And so he's meeting up with Saturn going, okay, what's required of me? Give me the lists of what I need to accomplish. And certainly this is a place to find a safe harbor where, you know what, I'll consolidate things. I'll get rid of things that I don't need, like magazines or books. Maybe you open up a book to learn something new. But I just think that this is more about, the taxes. It is tax season.
Right.
Yeah.
And the second transit of the day, the new moon in Pisces.
This is at 12 degrees of Pisces, conjunct Jupiter. This is at 11:35 a.m. And it's also in a sextile to Uranus, because it's at 12 degrees. And we've got the Venus here is also at 12 degrees, and Uranus is at 12 degrees of another sign. So this is a sextile. So, in Pisces, you're not sometimes able to actually to see, this mirage or this thing, but because you're not going to be able to see it, because it's happening at 11:35 in the morning, because you can't see the new moon. But catch her the night before, where she is coming up very early in the morning before the sun. But here, dare to dream. What places could you dream of that you wish you were in? What do you look like? What is your dream that you would like to look like? Dream who you're with. Who are the people that you're holding hands with or surrounding or in the circle with? Set that seed pod. Water it. I promise it will grow fast. It's with Jupiter. So it's I get goosebumps right now for some reason. And I feel like crying too. It's a very special journey. Yeah. And I really like this period also because it's conjuncting my natal Mercury. So if anyone has any planets around 12 degrees of Pisces, they're getting this new seed pod. Mm-hmm. So use it, plant it, water it, nurture it, give it sunlight, pay attention to it, have an intention that it will grow into what it is you vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Thursday, March 3rd, we have 2 transits. Mars conjunct Pluto is the first. And there's a password to this one.
Cooperate. Right. So when I was writing, I was like, when working well together provides strong strength. Right. So
WWWTSS.
So therefore, it can sit on this edge of where one side is super productive and it has a long lasting effects. And it's sitting on this bridge. And the results are great and they're satisfying. But on the other side is super destructive and has a long lasting effect and is a struggle. So anytime you put these 2 planets, this is Mars, which is a malefic, and Pluto, which is the alchemical changer, is also a malefic. You put them together in this sign Capricorn where Mars has strength. You have an opportunity to do this or that, right? So do a cooperate. So when you work well together, when these 2 planets work well together, they have lasting, strong strength.
Yes.
Do you want satisfaction or do you want struggle? You know which way to turn.
I mean,
you know
hopefully,
which way to lean.
yeah.
You know. Yeah.
But I think sometimes, whenever there is those aspects of pressure or power struggle, it does turn into that tough struggle, strife type of space. And sometimes it's hard just to get out to look for the solution or the success.
Which is if you have a intention, especially the day before at the new moon, if you set that intention, then you're moving forward with success, very productive time with this Mars coming in and saying, I am working toward a purpose. So I have the strength to do that. I can get over these obstacles versus hitting the easy button and I don't have a purpose or an intention that I set. And it's like, duck it. I don't really care about it. Then it's more of a struggle and more destructive.
Right. And then the second transit on March 3rd is Venus conjunct Pluto.
So she's out of her shadow finally. Wow.
Yay.
This Venus has gone into shadow from, I think it was November 18th.
Wow.
Then she retrograded December 18th. And then she moved direct the end of January. And it is taking her this long to start, chugga, 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 chugga.
Yeah, and finally
right? getting out of
the
her
muck,
shadow.
Yeah.
And what? She meets up with Pluto. She last saw Pluto here before she retrograded too. So all that Venus is and wants to be, she is now out of her shadow. Can you imprint herself on you now, right? How can you imprint the Venus? Now, this could mean you get a tattoo. This might be
that is
how
very
you wear,
permanent.
you layer your lipstick.
Okay.
But what is it for you? You have had over 2 months to perfect what she has been representing in your chart.
Yeah.
So all relationships that are worth having, you have. Give them a hug.
Okay.
Give them a hug. And of course, you probably won't hug the ones that are not there because they're no longer of importance to you. They're not there to hug. So hopefully you've made those proper choices in the last few months of releasing and purifying your true love self. I have a card here someone sent me, and it says, I am worthy of my own love.
Yeah.
And it sits in front of my computer here. So it's kind of that. I'm worthy of my own love. Like I can love myself. And be frugal and spend $4 on this beautiful shirt.
Frugal fascination.
So,
Fashionista.
look around, make sure that you're, are these are the relationships that you said are worthy. Now worthy them up.
Right. And also the ones that will withstand the test of time, which is totally what Pluto will challenge. So let's move on to your favorite day, which is Saturday, March 5th, Sun conjunct Jupiter.
So this is the special Cazimi, and this is any time a planet moves into the heart of the sun, which the sun comes around in 1 year period that hits every single transiting planet, right? Along with every natal planet in your birth chart. However, we're not talking about your personal chart right now. So when the sun comes and hits this Venus, this is at 14 degrees of Pisces. This is at 8:06 a.m., the exact period. But because the sun is moving faster than Jupiter, the sun is the one that's moving toward it, conzimis it, conjuncts it exact, and then moves on to separate it. But why do I call it special? It happens every year. Why? Because it's Jupiter's in his own sign of Pisces.
Right, which only happens every 12 years.
Except that by that time, it's every 13 years because Jupiter has moved into another sign. So really, it happens once every 13 years, and it's a free choice of faith. I get to believe what I want to believe. Now that we're on the we're coming out of this Venus, as I said, the shadow. So it's like these are lucky situations that arrive. Where, and this is where and when Jupiter becomes oriental of the sun. And this is a preferred place for Jupiter because Jupiter now rises before the sun and introduces the god Helios. Kind of like, da, 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 da. The sun, the king, is about to arrive.
Right.
And so Saturn and Jupiter like this position, and they are only here for 6 months out of the year. And this is the beginning of the 6 months for Jupiter to be in this preferred oriental space.
And so oriental means that they come up before the sun.
Yes.
Okay.
Occidental, which is the opposite, means that they set or they arrive after the sun. Okay. So it's always like the sun moving in, the king moving in front of these superior planets. The superior planets are liking to announce. So this is a preferred place. And it's my favorite day because of that, because it's sitting right on my natal Mercury and making a sextile to my natal Venus and my natal midheaven and making a sextile to my natal Mars. So, this weekend
that's big for
is
you.
A really big time to move forward, move ahead, get a leg up, if you will. And actually, it's this weekend that I have, we have 2 constellation bracelet workshop classes this weekend, and we're going to go grab this in one of the classes. So
very
that's
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah, I like it.
And I mean, just a quick aside. So I know that we've already begun, by this time, we've already begun our constellation bracelet workshop. But in this workshop, there is like a rare event astrologically that has not happened since 1856 that we're going to be talking about infusing that into the bracelet as well. So I'm so excited. So it's like this 13-year-old transit and this other rare one. So anyway, have we covered that enough?
Yeah. So, a free choice of faith, of stepping up and believing in
bringing in the zeal,
something. Yeah. Believing in creativity, believing in a dream, believing in inspired peacefulness.
Right.
And pulling that down from the ethers, from the cosmos. Come on.
And even like
we need that right now.
Right. And I was just about to bring it there. I totally was about to bring it there because, what also Jupiter brings is hope. Mm-hmm. It's not only the belief, but it is the hope too. And maybe even belief comes before. Maybe it's occidental to hope. Mm-hmm. It's really, you have to have this unshakable belief that, creativity is a lifestyle and like, worthwhile and worthy. And then hope would, or maybe I have it mixed up. Maybe it's hope first. Hope is Occidental. I'm just kind of curious how that transit can develop for people. Is it like we just start with the hope, that little seed
we
that
start
turns
with
into
a
a belief?
dream. Yeah, we start with a dream. We start with a vision inside of our head, right? Whether it's a daydream or a night dream.
Mm-hmm.
It's again, and whether you're, and that's the whole thing, Alex. You're not right or wrong. Is it Occidental or Oriental? You're not right or wrong.
Right.
It's Pisces. It's like maybe it's both.
Maybe it's happening all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's at the same time. And I forget what I was going to say here, but lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah.
That's a really, I'm happy we discussed that because that is going to be a really favorite day.
It's about doing good in the world.
Yeah.
It's about bringing peace into your home and carrying it with you. Just being in this bubble of...
So weird. I literally was about to be like, yeah, it's about creating your own bubble.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Yeah. That I've heard so many times in readings, I'm not creative. Oh my God, I don't have a creative bone in my body.
I've heard that my whole life.
However, that is so not true. You
Right.
have Jupiter somewhere, you have Neptune somewhere, you have Pisces somewhere
Right.
in your chart. Whether it could be sharing information, writing, reading, studying.
Humans are nothing
teaching.
but creative.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And that's, it's such a disservice when people say, oh, I'm not creative. And it's also a lot of BS, because they're just talking about they're not creative in a way that they saw is the appropriate way to be creative in schools.
Or artsy,
Right. Or that they know how to draw like in a very dignified, refined way.
Right.
But that's maybe not even being like creative. Yeah. The creativity comes when you make the decision to sit down and start drawing.
Or make something up.
Do a stick figure. That is creativity.
Being imaginative.
Right.
Is creative.
Right.
So, yeah.
So
I think people are getting confused with, being art, crafty, artsy is creative. No, it's making things up. It's creating children. It's
being imaginative.
A home. It's
right.
being
right. I think it's all of the above.
It's being. That's
right.
just it. It's just being. It's creative.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Keep going.
Okay. So the last day of the week is your astrological interesting day, which is Sunday, March 6th. And then we start off with Mars ingress Aquarius. It's 1 out of 3 transits this day.
Right. Because Mars and Venus are still
back to back. Right.
Palling. Is that right? I don't even know what I'm saying. Palling.
Gal
boy palling.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I don't know. That
doesn't make sense.
I made that up. I'm very creative.
Okay.
I made it up.
Yes, you are. So Mars ingress Aquarius
is moving into air, right? So Mars was very strong in the Earth, Capricorn, and now it's moving into this air fixed sign of Aquarius. So pushing technology buttons. Learn which ones do what. And don't be me. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, something's wrong with my computer. Blah, 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 blah. My phone is something's wrong. Blah, 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 blah. The TV, can somebody help me?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So make sure you're knowing which ones are that you're pushing the right buttons. You've got 6 weeks here of learning those things. And maybe you're teaching others things, Alex. Maybe you're teaching me how to use the computer and the phone and the
like
computer.
daily.
Yeah. And the reason why it's my Astro Interesting Day, because this is Mars and Venus moving together at 0 degrees of Aquarius, where December of 2020, so a year and a couple months ago, is where Jupiter and Saturn moved in at 0 degrees of Aquarius and they began that 200-year air economy. And so here come these two players hitting exactly at that same spot together on the same day. And that's what I called Astro Interesting, because 7 minutes later, Venus follows Mars into Aquarius.
Yeah.
And, Venus is finally out of that Earth Capricorn, where she normally spends 4 weeks. Let's think about this. But because of her retrograde, she was there for 4 months. Check it out. She feels like she had to be very earthy, very
practical,
kind of, stuck, because she had to go backwards there. And so now she goes into air. And so this is exactly the movement, as I mentioned, that this is the same spot that was December 18th of 2020. So no denying now that we are in an air economy. We're in the air life, right? So it's what we say, it's what we think,
right?
And it's what we share. And by the end of the day, and actually just about a half hour later, she catches up with Mars.
Right. And so the story continues, which is our third transit, which is Venus conjunct Mars. And so now they're both conjunct in Aquarius.
Right. So she's caught up. So she's caught up with Mars finally. And it's their last tango together. Prior to this one, their tango before this date of Sunday, March 6th, was February 16th. So if you go back into your calendar, look at what February 16th, when they were together again, when Mars moved ahead of Venus. This is where Mars moved forward, which is a rarity, where sparks, maybe there were sparkles or sparks galore. And can you connect a theme to what was happening around? And, February 16th was right around Valentine's Day. What was happening around that period? And how can you link it to what is happening on Sunday the 6th? Because Venus is now taking the lead.
Nice.
So it's the feminine that is taking the lead.
Nice.
Right? And she's kind of leaving Mars kind of in the rear view mirror, which is usually is where he normally is, because Venus is faster than Mars. But this is where they did their Hieros Gamos, where they're doing that soul union. And now Venus moves forward at her regular speed.
Well, what a week. I mean, there's a lot that we discussed, and there is a lot happening. So let's move into Talisman Times. So first, you have finished 3 talismans. The first was you made 2 on February 23rd to share wisdom, appreciation, and awareness.
By being me on all levels at all times, I emote my golden nuggets for others to receive and value. We are filled.
Golden nuggets.
Golden nugget.
Okay.
This is Moon right up at the midheaven in Sagittarius, making a really nice angle to the sun in Pisces coming up over the horizon. So these are two of the luminaries on the angles, the midheaven and the ascendant, both ruled by Jupiter in the first house.
Right.
So yes,
so it is
golden
about
nuggets, golden light,
right?
Golden.
It's about the self in public
hope.
Spaces. Yeah. And that is a great way to share the wisdom, appreciation, awareness. So that same day, you also created to earn and collect spiritual teachings. This one has kind of similarities.
I amass this esoteric information I use to perceive and understand all that is probable and possible. I believe what I believe because of this. Yeah, and very similar, because here the moon is now on the other angle of the 7th house descendant, of course, in the same Sagittarius. This time making that aspect to the sun at the top of the chart in the 10th house, and then making an aspect to the ruler of the chart, Mercury, which is the ruler of the chart coming up over the horizon, is Gemini. So this is about, the spiritual teachings and the learned and the sharing of what you understand.
Right.
And what you believe.
Yes.
But you have to learn stuff to believe stuff.
Right.
Right? Yeah. And that's what this is. To earn it, to collect it and to earn it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And we talked a little bit about that one last week, and I loved the earning part, because it takes that, it takes the experience to really understand. So Saturday, February 26th, you made to gain courage and protection.
And that one sold.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah.
So the upcoming talismans, we have Thursday, March 3rd, to gain protection from adversaries.
I easily hold space between myself and those I love from afflicting forces of all kinds. Peace and safety prevail. And this is a Mars in Capricorn talisman because Mars is leaving Capricorn. And so this is the kind of the last one I'm able to do. But the key part of this is Mars in exaltation in Capricorn is at 27 degrees of Capricorn, which is the highest degree, the highest exaltation degree of his exaltation sign. So I was able to get this with Venus, Pluto, Mars coming up over the horizon in his highest exaltation.
Yes.
And that's nice because the moon is making a separating sextile to it. So this is still considered the new moon in Pisces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, traditionally, talismans were used for protection.
Yeah.
They
absolutely were.
Yeah, this is a very cool one. So the same day, you also make the talisman to stand out in the crowd.
Whatever I am doing while in this peaceful meditative moment, I am noticed. My vibes radiate. My vibes radiate out to others. This one is the moon making a sextile to Venus, Jupiter conjunct the ascendant in his own sign. And this is where we get the enclosure of the moon. And the moon here is at 22 degrees Pisces, enclosed by the benefics of Jupiter and Venus. So really to be protected, it's like stand out in the crowd, it's like somebody's got either side of your arm and they're all abundant and beautiful people. So it's really, and all you're doing is chilling. All you're doing is being in this peaceful meditative moment. But you're noticed and you're radiating these vibes to others.
Right.
Yeah. This one is a really cool one.
I always love those talismans that you make that is about like magnetism and really kind of creating from the in out, because I think that is such a more genuine way of showing up in the world. Having this like inner light that just seeps out. And it's just attractive because it's seemingly genuine when someone's like, right. I want to show you my light and I want to be this person and look at my light and look at that light. Like, it doesn't seem as
versus
grounded.
Like, oh, thank you for your light. Me? Really? You noticed?
Yeah, it's like a humble.
I that's my intention. I'm hoping that you catch that.
Yes.
That brilliant glimmer.
And Saturday, March 5th, to increase wealth, success, and good fortune.
Sold.
Okay.
That area that kind of sold with a monthly client that I have who's
with like a personal tie.
Yeah, there's a personal tie right there. So
she
claimed that time.
Right.
She'll change the wording, but it's about that wording.
Right.
But that particular, the Cazimi of the Jupiter coming up over the horizon is doing something really great in her chart. Ooh. And she won at that time.
Cool. Yeah. So it's just like a pre-sale.
Right.
But you were going through the chart and said, oh my gosh, look at this. This is a really awesome talisman for you. So then Sunday, March 6th, to achieve universal nature. Is this one sold?
No.
Okay.
I easily manage all energies coming toward me and releasing from me. I possess this warm, steady flame of all Taurian earthly gifts. I am full. And this is the moon being smack dab on the midheaven to be seen by all in the public world, sitting on the third lunar mansion, which is between 25 Aries and 8 Taurus, which is about Pleiades. The Pleiades, the sisters, the cluster of stars that are up there in the Taurian area. And Pleiades means fullness. So...
and for me, every time I think about Taurus, I always think about the cow or the bull in the pasture with like all four hooves in the ground. It's not necessarily like trying to go and do and see, and it's not doing any of that. It's just enjoying the moment, nice, easy chewing, just kind of like relax blinking.
Can't tip over.
Right.
That's a myth.
Right. So, that Taurian energy of just being present and being in the enjoyment.
Mm-hmm. On the earth, you're fully planted,
and you're
full body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the abundance, everything you need is right within your reach.
Mm-hmm.
So let's announce the Talisman of the Month for March: to enjoy time steeped in appreciation. And this is a Talisman of the Month, which means you get a shipping credit as well as 222. And it's beautiful. It's this beautiful large bead that has oranges and reds and some blues and pinks. It's kind of like a multicolored one.
Yeah, this I picked because of the Piscean season here, and it is really to, calm down and be peaceful and kind of spread out a little bit, not to be so contained or constricted or worried. Mm-hmm. This is not the worry season.
Right.
So let's practice that.
Right. And the affirmation is, whatever I am doing right now, may I find the true, awe-inspiring beauty and express that feeling throughout my body. Mm-hmm. I smile. Mm-hmm. So this is, again, that it's totally about that inward feeling of joy and light and being and expressing that out.
When did I make that?
October 4th, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Moon exalted in Taurus, trine Jupiter, Venus in reception, and sextile Mercury, for all you astrology heads out there. So let's continue on. So on the horizon, we again are going to announce that the Changing of the Gods documentary, they're currently doing the unveiling. So every single day there's a new episode to watch. You can sign up using the link in the description, and you'll catch up wherever they're at.
Yeah, and it's it started last Tuesday.
So they might catch the last episode maybe.
Yeah, but then they're running one day where they're running 1 through 9. And I think that day it's March 1st or March 2nd.
Okay.
So if you haven't seen it, I'm up to date on them. I watch them every evening. They're about half hour, 45 minutes. And Alex, if you didn't catch last night's,
I got to.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It rattles your cage.
Oh.
If you're a woman.
Okay. I'm guessing a little feminist,
that's number 4,
feminist
the
type
number
of
4,
message.
The number 4, because of how we're recording this podcast, but I just watched number 4.
Okay.
Which was last night. So anybody does anybody have a particular, I know a lot of people are watching this. It's a worldwide phenomena right now, and people are talking about it. And what did you think of number 4?
Okay.
Yeah.
And we just finished up this past weekend the March astrology forecast with Sandy and Susan. That's ready and available for you to view, as well as the March astrology cheat sheet to follow along. Then I'm throwing in some links in the description for the personal intention talisman, as well as booking private events, and the Mexico retreat that's going to be happening in 2023. So are we ready to move into our house? Because I'm bursting at the seams. I got a lot of internal excitement to share with everyone.
Go, go, go. Let's not hold you back any longer.
Right. So tomorrow, aka Tuesday, is my birthday, and I really wanted to share a little bit more of my understandings, my teachings that I've learned over so many years of being in meditation organizations where I would be in charge of like 60 people in a group, but really there would be about 500 to 600 people all there for meditations. We would do short meditations that were, closer to like an hour, or we would do longer meditations that were that would start about 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning into 6 or 7 a.m. Yes. So it was, so I've picked up so many different things, and I really want to showcase that. I don't know how often I'm going to be doing this, but whenever the opportunity strikes and whenever this light within me just is bursting at the seams.
Let's go.
So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I would like you to kind of take a moment. If you're driving in the car, keep your eyes open and keep your awareness there. However, if you're at home or you have a space of time where you can really ground down in your seat, in your bed, on the ground, sitting in a seated position, I wanted to take us all through a little reflective time. And why I want to do this is the new astrology year that's coming up. So let's get into it. So I want you all to take a really deep breath in and hold and out. And we're going to continue this for another 3 times. Hold and out. And in. And hold and out. And as we continue this really easy breath, you don't have to continue the holding. You can just expand and let go as your breath allows you to. And here, this is an opportunity. This is a chance for us to really take a moment for ourselves and think back to a year ago. Think back to a year ago. What were you doing? What was your outlook on life? Did you have goals that you set for yourself? Take a moment and think about that. And here, as we are coming up to the end of the astrological year, we've been in the winter solstice here, and we're about to transition into this spring equinox where life is coming back. The seedlings are going to sprout back up from the snow. So as we're in this end of the cycle, this kind of death moment of this year, I wanted to take this time, reflect on this, and just know that whether or not you got those goals completed, or whether or not they were successful, or whether or not you even had those goals, or if you can remember, just take a moment and feel that exactly where you're at, exactly where this journey has brought you in this last year, you are still on your path. That road is still underneath you. You have not lost anything. You are not lost. And this time, this ending of the year, we can use as not only a reflection, but we can use as this time to let go of the things that we regret, that we are disappointed by, that we might hold shame about, and to give ourselves the grace of mourning those, letting those go, and continuing on for the start of the new year that's coming. And so we'll all take a deep breath in together. And audible exhale. Because I'm so excited that the spring equinox is coming up, because I'm so excited it's my birthday here towards the end of this astrological year, I wanted to share this moment with you all. I am excited to continue to learn, to collect all of these little spiritual teachings, these practices, these just moments of reflection, moments of self that we can all participate in and start with our day. So thank you all for listening in.
Don't stop.
Mama, thank you again for, being here, being such an anchor on this podcast, working so hard to get all of the transits together. This last year and the past two years really have been a lot. And so different. And, from here, I wanted to just take that moment with you as well and just say thank you so much for all of your hard work. And it's acknowledged. I'm so aware of it. And I think all of the people listening on the podcast are thankful for it too.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Alex. It's great to have you as a teammate, team player. You listen, you focus. I don't. You do, and set things in motion. And when you came and said, "Hey, I want to do this thing," I was like, "Yeah, you do you. You're heading to 34.
34.
I mean, I know. I didn't know if you wanted to say.
Oh, okay, yeah, 34.
34. And to have a voice. You have a voice anyway, but to lead with your voice.
Yes.
You're in a 10th house annual perfection just for a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
You move into an 11th house, which is really about groups, organizations, people, friends, how they are aspiring to their goals, and you're helping them because those are your same goals.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting that you're pulling that over into this, and that's so lovely.
Yes.
And you'll get Pisces rules your 11th house. And
yes.
Jupiter becomes your time lord.
Yay, it's about growth.
He's
I'm
still
excited.
in Pisces, yeah.
So again, thank you everybody for listening in on this podcast and sharing my birthday with me. Thank you everybody for listening, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
And so you finally know you control where you go.